What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I have to thank you guys because now is all we have, So for you to be spending time with me, any amount of time, I am greatly appreciative of that. So thank you guys so much. Listen, I heard about what's going on with the whole Disney racial deprogramming, conditioning crap that they've been doing over there. The whole thing is based upon the principle of white privilege, and I'll probably be talking about that very soon. But I saw this other story that I want to talk about, which actually kind of relates to the point that I want to make about all of that white privilege stuff, or just the concept of anybody being really privileged. All right, so if you bear with me, I just want to read this story here, okay? I'll try to get through it as fast as I can, but trust me, guys, there is a point to this, okay? And it will become apparent as I go on. All right, so this was published by, I guess it's Today's Show website, perhaps. And it says here, Mark Hamill, Star Wars star Mark Hamill's extraordinary visit with a dying boy. One family will never forget what actor Mark Hamill did for their dying son. Joe Sikora's son, John's, memory eroded from a degenerative fatal disease, and the teen could no longer distinguish between reality and fiction. But in his heart, he remembered a childhood of watching Star Wars movies and playing with action figures. His dad reached out to the one Hollywood person he knew in hopes of somehow making a connection with Hamill. John had always loved Star Wars, said Sikora, a Catholic podcast host, family therapist, and father of two. I think he identified with the whole idea of the fight between good and evil, courage and despair. For a family that understands all too well the struggle between light and dark, Hamill's act of kindness would mean the world. Joe Sikora's son was diagnosed with juvenile Batten disease, a progressive and fatal genetic disease that affects the nervous system when he was just 7 years old. Children with Batten lose their vision and suffer from seizures and loss of motor and cognitive control before their early deaths. The Sikora's younger son, Ben, was diagnosed with Batten disease as well. Doctors told the Sikoras that a treatment for Batten might be possible in the future, but not in their children's lifetimes. It was devastating and isolating, Sikora told Today parents. How do you imagine life going forward when this is presented with no cure for a treatment? Sikora said initially after the diagnosis, life turned dark for all of us. But then he and his wife Lori decided to focus on making life the best it could possibly be for their family, to live in the moment and to live joyfully. We made a choice to maximize life and do what we could to take pleasure in small things, he said. Because we opened ourselves up, rather than living in despair and depression, though we definitely went through depressed times, we have had some amazing moments throughout our journey. One of those moments came after John, then a young teenager, asked his dad if he could meet Luke Skywalker. He had already lost his sight by then, and most of his short-term memory. But because he had spent most of his childhood watching Star Wars and playing with his toy lightsabers and action figures, his connection to the movie had stayed with him. Sikora asked his college friend, screenwriter Ed Solomon, he did Men in Black and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the only person he knew in Hollywood, if he could help him reach Hamill. Solomon didn't have any direct connection to the actor, but he reached out to his agent. The agent begrudgingly said he'd call Mark, but also not to get my hopes up, Solomon wrote when he told the story on Twitter in 2017. 90 seconds later, I got a call from @Hamill himself, who immediately said yes and gave me his home address. Hamill met John with Sikora and Solomon at a park in Malibu, where he spent hours answering John's questions in character as Skywalker. At that point, John couldn't distinguish between the actor and the character, explained Sikora. Mark answered all John's questions about Princess Leia. Shit. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading this like a father. You know what I mean? Watching your child watching his health fail that way at such a young age, man, I can't even imagine. Um, Mark answered all John's questions about Princess Leia and spaceships, and he was just very, very kind. John passed away at the age of 24 in 2014. His younger brother Ben is still living with Batten disease. John lived courageously, Sakura said. Luke would have been very proud of him. He changed lives with his love and very presence. Neither Sakura nor Solomon told the story of meeting Hamill publicly until 2017, when, depressed by all the negative news coming out of Hollywood and the world, Solomon decided to share it on Twitter. In some 30-odd years in this business, this may be the story I'm proudest to have been a part of, he wrote. Hamill responded to his tweets with his own statement about the experience. I've been so lucky. I feel it's my duty to give back in any way I can, he wrote. Much prefer visits to hospitals than talk shows. Heartbreaking but inspirational. Makes my career seem trivial in comparison. Wish I could do more. Sakura has written a book chronicling the family's experience raising 2 children with Batten disease. Defying Gravity is the name of the book. All proceeds from the book will go to the Beyond Batten Disease Foundation to fund research and support other families battling Batten. We've managed to have a grace-filled life, said Sakura. The advantage that this diagnosis has given us was that we're able to recognize how precious life is and how fleeting. We can focus on our relationships with each other, our love, our laughter, our connections with our family, our connections with our faith. And just like the epic saga his son loved so much as a child, Sakura said in many ways the family story is as universal as it is unique. We're all going to suffer, he said. We're all going to experience loss and death and health crises. To me, it's just about the fact that you can really be aware that life is a gift. It can't help but change how you choose to relate to other people in your own life. All right, I wanted to read that whole article so you could see exactly what the story was there. You see, Disney and Lucasfilm, guys, I think they've kind of forgotten what's really important here and what this is really all about. You know, what Star Wars means. And I've done videos like this before where I talked about it's so much more than just a movie. It's so much more than just entertainment. I mean, it's all of those things, you know. But when it's done right, people find inspiration in these characters. And these characters mean so much to so many people. It helps them to fight and to get through some of the darkest, most trying times of their lives. And the way they relate to these characters. It's a crime to destroy them, you know, for the sake of a story, you know, for the sake of a plot twist, or just to say you were in creative control and you were able to do it just because you can. These things mean so much. So when I do my videos and I'm talking about whether it's, you know, destroying characteristics, or, you know, the whole idea that it has to be one race in order to appeal to another race, you're missing the whole point. These were white people that this happened to. And I couldn't feel it anymore if it were anybody else. This should never happen to anyone. And it breaks my heart to think that they have two children who are going to go through this. And there's no hope for a cure in their lifetime. But I pray, because miracles can happen. But these people are completely missing the point. They're not seeing what's really, really important here. You know, so when you make a big deal about privilege, did this sound like privilege to you? A young child didn't even get to, well, he made it to 24, all right? And that is a blessing, because they cherished every day like we all should. But the point is, that was not privileged. It was about the way they thought. And anyone who goes through any challenge in life, they have that choice, you know, to face life the best way that they can, no matter what life is handing you. You don't get to just see people on sight and see their color and say, just because you're that color, you're privileged. I'm privileged. I'm privileged to be reading that story. I'm privileged to be sharing it with you. We have to stop these people from this sick narrative that they have out here, where they're dragging people through the mud, whether they're white, whether they're black. I don't know. I don't have it in me to think that I can change the world. All right, that's just naive. You can't change the world, but you can change the way that you think before you die. And that's the point of life. That is the point of all of it. You would say that it's unfair what happened to this young man. But what he couldn't know is that there's this big black dude that he never met in his life. This man, this father. All right, I'm so much more than some big black dude. I'm just saying humorously, but he would never know that he touched my heart the way that he did. That's the point of life. You never know the impact that you have on people. You'll never get to see all the people that you touch, but I'm bearing witness that his life meant everything. All our lives are connected. These people have no idea what the hell they're talking about when they try to act like we're separated by this and by that. It's a waste. You can't believe them. It's wrong. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, just to put it all in perspective. And I want to send out my blessings to the family, of this young man. And I, want to send out, just all types of positive energy to his brother, just everyone. Remember, find inspiration, in each other. Find inspiration regardless, of race and religion and sexuality. These people are wasting our times, man. I swear, they're against. They're doing everything opposite of what life is supposed to be. And that's how you know that they're evil, whether they know it or not, whether they're serving it willingly. That's what it is. Anything that separates God's creation is evil. We're supposed to be together. That's the challenge of life. You know what I mean? We're not just supposed to be hugging all up on each other. Of course, we're different and everything, but in differences comes appreciation, not necessarily resentment or hatred. We challenge each other to be the best that we can be. Can't change the world, but you can start with yourself. All right, guys, I just wanted to share that with you guys. You can get in the comment section and, just share your thoughts. All right. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Be safe. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on. And God bless you, Mark Hamill. All right. A true gem. No matter, what differences may be, you have a good heart, and I'll always be appreciative of that.